What's up, y'all? Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk, episode number 17. I'm Ryan Mitchell, joined by Rhett Hoy. We're a podcast that is presented by Carolina's Mat News. Mr. Frank Smith will bring you the best coverage of North Carolina and South Carolina.
We're also brought to you by Village Recruiting Coaching. Guys, if you want to wrestle, guys and girls, if you want to wrestle in college, it doesn't matter if you want to wrestle club, junior college, NAIA, D3, D2, D1. Tanner Sewell is the man to get you there to find the perfect program for you. Hit him up. He's gonna help you with the academic side of it, with talking to coaches, with getting recruited, everything in that realm. He's the guy to talk to. He's the one to help you out. Make sure you guys hit him up and make sure you tell him the Carolina Takedown Talk sent you.
Also, make sure that you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone that's done that so far. We're just continually thankful for the support that we've gotten so far. And if you want to sponsor this podcast, just holler at us. You can send us an email at carolinatakedowntalk@gmail.com, or you can just send us a message on any of our social medias. Rhett does a great job responding to you guys on there. So, and thank you guys for all the support we received. Rhett and I were at 3A West this weekend, and all the people that came up to us or said something to us, we appreciate the guys. We're just trying to bring you guys some awesome content along with Frank and give back to the wrestling community that's given so much to us.
Yeah, no doubt. It was pretty cool to have people pop up and say, hey, let's, to come up and say, hey, if you guys see us at the different state tournaments, I guess next weekend now, man, we are here at the state championship. State title, championship season is kind of what I've been using. Man, we are here. Regionals was nuts. I still hate that there's no wrestlebacks. Sitting there watching the regional tournament.
Never gonna get over it.
Watching the regional tournament, I got to coach in it again this year. And, man, just seeing kids that you can 100% watch them wrestle this match in the quarters and go, man, if this was last year or if this was next year, that kid would come back and take third right now.
Yeah.
Bad draw.
It was hard to
whatever
watch
it is.
Kids in those tough, tight matches.
Yeah. And it stunk, seeing that. But, hats off and congratulations to all the qualifiers.
Yeah, congrats to all these state qualifiers, especially being such a weird year to make it to this point. We're excited for the movement forward for sure.
And big special shout out to how many do we count? 9?
I think 9.
9 girls.
9 ladies.
9 ladies qualifying into the boys state tournament.
Incredible. Yeah. Incredible. We're going to talk about them as we go through our regional recap, but
I think that is the biggest thing to push forward with this Sanctionancy movement is they're here to wrestle. The ladies are here in North Carolina to wrestle. Really quick, big shout out. And also make sure you guys go check out this Saturday, the 19th. Is it at Glenn High School?
Glenn High
School. The 19th is the girls state championship, the girls state individual championship. Make sure you go check that out. Good luck to all you ladies that are going to compete in that. Big prize for you guys going to compete in that. I'm excited to see the results on that.
Too.
Some big names.
Definitely going to affect my ladies' big boards going forward. Yeah. This weekend's a huge weekend for them.
It is. Let's get into it. So we're going to start this off. We are going to do 1A and 4A on this episode. The reason we're doing that is because they're together for the state tournament. What we're going to do on this episode is we're going to kind of do a quick recap on regionals. We're not going to spend too much time on that, and we're going to go through each bracket in 1A and 4A from 106 all the way down to 285, and we're going to pick out our big matches that we're excited to see, big quarters, and then who we think the favorite is. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be able to go match by match in each bracket. We wish we could, but that is a lot of matches. I
don't think you want to listen to Rhett and I talk for 6 hours straight. We can do it.
We can do it. I mean, we can.
I don't know if you want to listen to that one.
But we want to make sure this is the best content we can send you guys. But before we kick that off, I want to give a massive shout out again to UMO and also App State having coaches in the building at the regional tournament here in North Carolina this past week. I almost said weekend. It's so crazy with regionals on Tuesday.
That was so weird.
Also, walking outside at the end of the tournament, it's still light outside at what?
8:50.
Yeah, in, at least at 3A West, we didn't get started until I think 10 or 11. So, which that was weird also, but massive shout out to UMO and to App. Man, like that is how you keep in-state talent here.
Yes.
Like awesome. We had Ian Miller from App State in the building at the 3A West.
How awesome was it having App assistant coach Ian Miller there?
Yeah.
He's an All-American for Kent State.
Yep.
So he knows what it takes to succeed on the next level. You can tell by App's season, they had a historic season this year.
Yeah.
That he's making a difference in the room. So he's there checking out talent, supporting Tristan Norris, who's coming into App.
Right.
Just really cool to have someone who's like on that level at a regional tournament in North Carolina.
And not only just there to see his guy, but this guy was intently watching every match that went on in the build, like every single match on mat 1 and 2. I didn't see him going to the Oxford gym too much. It was really hot in that gym. I think that's a big issue that I saw from all the way across the state, is that these high school gyms aren't really built for it. But it is what it is. But I mean, this guy was sitting there watching every single one of those matches. And I was really impressed. We're going to be posting that interview soon that we have with Ian. Big shout out to you, Coach Miller, for letting us get an interview. And big props to you, to App State. I think he said that John Mark was in the building at the 1A West, I believe. I think he said he was going to try and go down there. I just think that's so big that we have in-school college, or in-state colleges come into our regional tournaments. They're not just waiting for the big state tournament anymore. They are coming out and they are recruiting these in-state kids hard. And I think that just shows where we are as a state now.
Yeah, we're building.
Are building, that these coaches, they know that like to have a chance to get these kids into their room and up in their program and keep them in the state, they have to go out and recruit now.
Yeah, and I think I want to specifically John Mark and his staff at App has proven to take North Carolina kids and produce on the next level. I mean, look at this year alone, Jonathan Milner, right?
I really think
one-time North Carolina state champion.
Yeah, I really think the results of the rosters of both these schools, of UMO and App State, you look through that roster and you see North Carolina kids on those rosters. These coaches are proud to keep kids from this state onto their rosters and that keep them in our state. And not only, I think UMO, newer program, but they're going to have success. Yeah. That's my prediction.
I think next year.
Okay. I think next year they're going to have a massive blast off year. I think it's going to be huge. There are so many big signings. They're bringing kids back in that kind of stepped away from wrestling, and bringing them back in.
And a couple transfers from D1
from D1s, from Campbell.
And Clarion.
Yeah, exactly. And App State is instantly, App State's already this past year, we look at the roster, already having North Carolina success. Big shout out to Jonathan Milner, App State.
Yeah.
All-American, one of our first big interviews that we had. So like I said, big props to you guys. Thank you. We want to shout you guys out, UMO and App State. We just can't say enough how important that is and how awesome it is to see college programs in the gym, not just for a state title, but a regional tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So let's kick this off, though. We're going to start out in 1A.
We're going to start out 1A East.
Yep.
And Rhett, the first thing we got to talk about out of the 1A East is, in my opinion, the biggest upset of the year.
So far.
There is no bigger upset than this one. And I remember sitting right here in your house, and we said, Heaven Fish.
Next topic. And
that's not the case.
Freshman Jason Kennedy from Rosewood said, whoa. Let's just calm down, okay?
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Let's talk about this. With the upset over the history-making, the trailblazer, Heaven Fitch from Wari Charter.
So on this podcast last time we were here shooting this, and I kind of dropped that Reagan Riddick had dropped to 106. I was looking it up on my computer just to make sure she had wrestled that match before I dropped that little nugget of info, so it wasn't kind of out there before it happened. And when I did, I pulled up the result, and I noticed that Jason Kennedy had beaten her. Mm-hmm. And at that 106 weight, and off air, I said to Red, I was like, that's kind of a crazy result. I know Kennedy's undefeated on the year, but that's his first notable win. I don't really know as much about this kid, but maybe I should. And that kind of put a thought into my head, but I didn't think that this was coming. 4-2 win over Heaven Fitch, puts himself in the driver's seat for the state title next week. Biggest upset of the year, bar none. And we'll see if Heaven Fitch can rebound and win her second state title. That's going to be a big one in 1A. It might be the most anticipated one of the whole
in 1A.
Whole
I would
1A.
say so.
And so out of the 1A East as well, Heaven Fitch is the only lady that qualified in her bracket. Talia Acquire Gomez, I probably said your name wrong, sorry, out of Manio, right?
Yep.
Outer Banks kid. She qualified. She's a freshman, right? So Reagan Riddick was the first freshman lady to qualify ever last year. And this year we had quite a few, with Gomez being one of them here. So she got fourth place. Her, Brooke, Zach, and Reagan Riddick, those schools are within an hour and 15 minutes of each other. Manio First Flight in Currituck, Eastern North Carolina, way east North Carolina, my area, doing the thing for the ladies. I don't think it's a coincidence, the three ladies from the same area type thing qualifying. We'll get to Reagan and Brooke, Zach on the next episode, but shout out to Tyler Gomez for qualifying. So we got two ladies in that 4A 106 bracket. And then we had a couple kids just kind of buzzsaw through their bracket.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tristan Hale from South Davidson at 113, Logan Torchill at 120, and Timmy Freeze dominated 126. So those three guys kind of buzzsawed through their bracket. And then we had a close one with Cody Lawson over Brandon Reese from Rosewood, 5-4. A little bit closer than I kind of thought it was going to be originally. And but Lawson over Reese, 5-4. Doug Bowles at 160. I knew he was going to win this bracket, but
URA Charter's trying to storm right there.
Yeah, URA Charter. We'll get to that in a little bit there. And then this one was the one that kind of turned my head too, is Tyler Paris of Rosewood over Tony Rogers of South Stanley. So Rosewood having a great tournament.
Yeah.
Now URA Charter won the tournament over Rosewood.
Right.
Rosewood took second, but that's a big result for 220. And we're going to talk about the 220 again here in the 1A West. So 1A West,
hammers,
good,
dominating. Man,
Avery went to town.
I'm going to say it again. I think that Avery County High School can hang with anybody in the state.
I agree. I mean, if you go back
anyone in the state, I think they have to be our next on our whiteboard boards.
Yeah, I want them on the whiteboard board for sure.
I
think too.
I'm just trying to find somebody that might touch them.
Man, I don't know.
I'm trying to find a team that might touch them.
I want to do them versus 4A team or something. But I mean, last year they were the highest placing team at the Holy Angel tournament, and there was a bunch of good teams there. But they went to town. They kind of mopped up a little bit. A crazy stat here. Avery had 7 champs, so they had half the champs. Robbinsville had 5.
Yep.
And then Mount Airy had the other 2. So 3 schools won all the titles.
Yep.
There was no other school that won titles. So that's kind of crazy to me that Avery, Robbinsville with 12 of them, and then Mount Airy gets the other 2. So a little wild. Luke Wilson out of Robbinsville, state runner-up last year to Heaven Fitch, has a close semi with Marco Sagan. We kind of alluded to that. That was going to be a tough one.
From Allegheny kind of trying to get back on the map there, send a few kids.
So that'll be interesting. We'll look at that as state bracket a little bit. And then 2 more ladies actually here. We have Ainsley Fink qualifies and Hope Horan out of Mount Airy, another freshman. So like I said, the ladies are coming here. At 113, we have Ben Jordan, another Avery kid, over Fuck from North Stanley in the semis, and then he won again in the finals. Ben Jordan taking that title. So Avery had some of these kids win that weren't necessarily the favorite going in either, which is another staggering thing for them.
Yeah.
And then Jaden Noel and Ethan Shell do their thing. They rolled. And then
Jaden Noel looked good though.
Oh yeah, man.
From everything that I saw, he looks solid. He's rolling right now.
Very impressive.
Ethan Shell, I mean, Ethan Shell's going to do Ethan.
I mean, I
Ethan Shell
remember when
does.
we had Christian Beats on, and Christian Beats said he was the best kid in that room.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that's
big
staggering to say, considering the level of talent they have in there.
And then now, I know this would normally be your thing, but I think I have to take it.
Yeah, go.
Because I am jumping headfirst into the Cage Williams hype train because I don't think it's a hype train anymore. It's not hype. He's living up to it. He is killing kids. I think Cage Williams, this might be a bold take. I think Cage Williams is the only one in the state that could maybe be. I would love, I'm a slow roll a little bit because what we talked about a little bit off air. I would love to see just a three-man go with Landon Four, Cage Williams, and Holden Cypher.
Yes.
Because I don't know who comes out on top on that as good as Cage Williams is wrestling. I think experience-wise, probably Landon Four takes it. I know this is like a hypothetical, whatever, but I think that just shows how dang good Cage Williams is. He is an absolute animal.
Very impressive. He has I can't remember what the total on pins were, but it's like all pins and one tech and one major bonus points throughout the year. No one's even close to him. So he did what he normally does. Bonus his way, major in the finals, killing everybody else. And then here's the result that kind of turned 220 on its head, right? So I referenced it a little bit ago. Tyler Parrish over Tony Rogers. And so Zach Vance, number one kid in the state here at 1A 220, loses to Ben Wachacha from Robbinsville. Not surprising considering who Ben's partners are with Kyle Fink and Cage Williams, right? But so now you have the number 1 and 2 kids in the state both lose at the regional tournament. And that's going to be kind of a wild little bracket. Now I'm not sure. I thought Vance was the favorite going into regionals. Now I'm not sure who the favorite going into the state tournament is.
I think that also comes up to coaching, man. Todd Odom has his kids ready to go.
Yeah.
Todd Odom has they are peaking. Shout out to Robbinsville and Todd Odom as well. You know, we got to give them some love.
5 champs.
Man, 5 champs. You know,
I mean,
it's crazy. Any other region, they probably win. I mean, they have a shot at winning it.
Yeah.
I really think if we go 2A, 3A, 4, I mean, I think Robbinsville is that good as well.
They're really good. They're really good.
But they're just stuck right there with the animals from Avery County.
If Avery just wasn't on a different tier right now, they're like in this dynasty kind of.
Right now they are.
Dynasty kind of couple years. And they're just it's kind of like how Penn State was beat that Ohio State team, and both teams were just completely stacked. Right? It's kind of a similar thing.
They kind of look at it and go, man, any other year.
Avery's just much better right now. Speaking of Avery, though, Levi Andrews, 2-time state champ, on Chapter 4, he pinned CJ Henderson, which we said this is the most anticipated matchup of 1A right now. And Levi Andrews delivers and shows, hey, guys, I'm really interested right now in Levi Andrews. What schools are looking at him as a heavyweight? Heavyweights are coveted for college because they can score those big points. They're hard to find, especially because a lot of them do go the football route, right? So finding a heavyweight that's got his athletic skills, I'm really interested to see where he kind of ends up school-wise, along with his teammate Ethan Shell too. But Levi's really piquing my interest here. So that's kind of our 1A regional recap, the big things that happened. And we didn't talk about you as a regional champ. Doesn't mean we didn't think what you did was impressive. Like, and you pick a champ, right? It's just that we're recapping kind of the big things so we can get to the state brackets as well. So let's start at the top with 1A 106. Now Rhett and I got the brackets kind of pulled up right here in front of us. So we're gonna kind of look through those, kind of give you guys maybe some quarters, some things that blew our mind, maybe an awesome first round matchup, and kind of. We might not pick every single weight because there's some weights that I'm not sure who I'm picking yet. Rhett's going to write the 1A fan guide for Southeast Wrestle. So he's going to be putting that out. I'll be writing the 2A one. I'm not sure who yet who's writing the 3A, 4A one, but those are all going to come out on southeastwrestle.com, and they're fun to do. I can't wait to write that again. So 1A 106. The favorite going in has got to be Jason Kennedy, right? He just beat the champ,
I can't believe if you'd asked me at the beginning of the season who the favorite is coming to this, and you'd have told me,
said
if you would have told me that we would even have anyone else in 106 and 1A besides Heaven Fitch that we would say is the main title contender, I'd say you're crazy. But Jason Kennedy has come out 27-0 as a freshman.
Yes, and Rosewood is known for this. I mean, think about it, the Decaters.
Yeah.
Zach Barron.
Yep.
That's going way back. Nick Quillen.
Yep.
They got these lightweight hammers that kind of come out, set the world on fire. So maybe Jason Kennedy is kind of this next in line heir apparent to the Rosewood lightweights. So the cool thing about 1A 106 is we do have 4 ladies in this bracket with Hope Horan, Heaven Fitch, Talia Gomez. 3 ladies. Excuse me, those 3. 3. Hope Horan, Talia Gomez, Heaven Fitch, right? So that's really cool. Now, the first round matchup to watch, we mentioned Marcus Sagan from Allegheny. He gave kind of Luke Wilson some fits in the semis. Him and Heaven Fitch
they kick it off.
They kick it off in round 1. Now, I still think Fitch is kind of a tier above, right? But that's an interesting one to watch, kind of right away.
I think this upset. I mean, I know that every upset's massive and it's big for your state championship run.
Yes.
But I think if anyone benefited most of getting the better side of the bracket here has got to be Jason Kennedy, because Heaven Fitch not only has to go through, I'm going to butcher his name, Sagahan or Sagahan. Yes. Yeah. Sagan. So the Allegheny kid, right? Yeah. The Allegheny 106. We're going to go with that. Okay. She has to go through him, but she also has to go through Luke Wilson from Robbinsville, who is no slouch.
State finals rematch in the semis, right?
I mean, so she's got to go through someone who gave Wilson a run for his money there in the semis at regionals. Tight match, who isn't a slouch. And then she's got to beat Luke Wilson again.
Yeah, so all three of those on the bottom side of the bracket, Kennedy kind of on an island on the top of the bracket there.
Yeah.
So Kennedy's got to be the favorite going in, especially considering his path. I'm not sure who I'm picking yet.
I can't pick against Heaven. I want her to win it again. I want her to make history again, be the first 2-timer. But it's tough because Jason Kennedy's on a rampage right now. So
I think based on Kennedy's wins over Riddick and his recent win over Fitch, I'm going to pick Kennedy.
Yeah.
I kind of think my heart wants to pick Heaven Fitch, and that's not because I don't think Kennedy's a good kid. I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
But I do want to see Heaven Fitch make history and win a second one. But I'm going to go with Kennedy. I'm going to go with Kennedy as far as
I think everything he's done this season.
Yeah.
Really just I think it's tough not to pick him. I mean we were going to go with here the biggest one that pops out to me is the 11-0 to Reagan Riddick, your girl from First Flight.
He put up 11 points on Reagan Riddick, who went unscored upon in her regional. We'll talk about her more on the next episode, but he put 11 points on someone who went unscored on and was the most outstanding wrestler in 2A. So I'm going to go Kennedy. That's my head. My heart says Heaven Fitch. I'm going to go with my head and go.
I think that finals match right there. I think it's going to be the first victim of us not wrestling at the Greensboro Coliseum, because I think if Heaven Fitch walked out and it was Jason Kennedy, a freshman, walks out against Heaven Fitch at the Greensboro Coliseum, big stage, the whole Coliseum rooting for it, just like it happened last year. I think the freshman buckles.
That's true.
I think the freshman buckles. I think having it at a smaller gym, and it's going to let those kids really minimize that moment. Like I hate that that's happening, right?
Yeah.
But I think some freshmen are going to be able to capitalize on that. And if I had to take that pick right now, I'm going to have to go with Jason Kennedy from Rosewood, as much as I may not want to, you know.
Head saying Kennedy, my heart saying Fitch. I think on that one.
Yep. And so we're going to roll it down to 13 here.
So, Tristan Hale on East is the 1 seed. South Davidson, we talked about how he buzzsawed through. He does have Ansley Fink, first round from Robbinsville. Picture of the year, Ansley Fink.
Yeah, still.
And then on the bottom, we got Ben Jordan, 23-1, freshman from Avery County, right? Regional champ. Honestly, I think Hale is a pretty heavy favorite heading into the tournament here, just based on his season and season prior. And Ben Jordan on the bottom with Hunter Foot from North Stanley.
And Jack MacArthur, freshman out of UR Charter.
So it's pretty good little bottom bracket there. Fupp and Jordan had a good semifinal in the West. I think it's a Jordan. I'm gonna go. It's a Jordan and Hale final, and maybe Hale. I'm gonna go Hale coming on top. Like I said, we might not pick every bracket. I kind of want to talk more about different matchups that are gonna go down rather than picking straight champs. But I definitely think Hale kind of is the favorite.
And I think that also stinks with this year is that, it's a one-day tournament. And so normal state championship year, hopefully next year we're back to normal here.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a whole different show next year we're going to have the finals set up the day before that we're going to be able to sit there and pick. Or we're going to have hours before that happens. We had some big plans this year.
We did. We had some big plans about doing recaps in between rounds and uploading like upsets of the round articles and stuff like that.
And it's just going to be really tough too, since we're going to be in different locations.
Frank's going to be in a different location than both of us. I'll be at 2A, Rhett's going to be at 3A.
Yeah.
And he'll be coaching. And then Frank's going to be at the 1A, 4A. So we're kind of all spread out a little bit.
We'll go ahead and take this moment to ask if there's anyone who wants to be a contributor for us or for Carolina Mat News or Carolina's Mat News with Frank. Reach out. With it being separated this year, we really are relying on you guys to pass us on information that we can post out because we can't watch every match. We were lucky this year. 3A West probably had the best coverage, I'm going to say, because Ryan was sitting there literally live streaming with the semis and the finals. How awesome is that? Yeah.
Ran around, got to see some kids in the first couple rounds.
It was awesome. So like we said, if you guys want to be a contributor for us, please, we're looking for them.
Yeah, definitely get Frank too.
Yes.
He's kind of the point man, kind of putting him in the right spot. So
for sure. So going down to 120 here, Rosewood here.
Yeah, Logan
another Rosewood kid.
I think he's a heavy favorite in this one, honestly. I don't think there's too much else to talk about in this bracket, except for you got Loomy on the bottom, another freshman from Avery, Grant Reese. Avery is bringing the heat with their young bucks as well.
Scary for the rest of the 1A.
It doesn't look like this Avery train is going to stop anytime soon, does it?
Avery or Robbinsville.
Their big class is just juniors, right?
Yeah.
It's Shell and Andrews are just juniors, and then they got these freshmen and Blackledge is sophomore. But I think Torchel, heavy favorite. My prediction would be probably sees Reese out of the bottom, and you got a Torchel Reese final.
I think so. I'm agree with that one. I know the UR Charter kid there. He's solid, but we're just gonna see how it goes. So going down to 126, we've got Timmy Freeze out of South Davidson here.
Yeah. South Davidson with 2 undefeated kids.
Yeah.
Regional champs there. And then you have
then looming at the bottom, Jaden Noel, out of Robbinsville, 25-0, a junior, and he is hitting his stride.
This is
really wrestling tough.
That I've kind of been thinking about all year long about these two hitting. I think this is definitely your final. I feel like they're both kind of heavy favorites on their side of the bracket. It's gonna be an interesting final. We obviously a little biased to the West and Robbinsville, just being able to get to see them a little more.
Yeah.
Noah's looks phenomenal.
He looks awesome, but I am excited to see this semi. They both make it there with Austin Kennedy out of UR Charter.
Yeah.
We definitely have caught a little bit of flack this year.
As some people say, we're sleeping on UR Charter.
Yeah, some people said we're sleeping on them.
I'm going to go on record. I'll take some heat for it. I'm not sleeping on UR Charter. I just don't think they're on Avery's level. To be honest.
For sure. I don't think they're on Avery's level
at all. Really anybody is.
And it's no disrespect to
I think
UR Charter.
They're
great. Yeah.
But I don't think that they're on Avery's level
I agree.
This year.
But I do think that's going to be that could be a fun matchup there.
I think so too.
With Austin Kennedy, senior trying to punch his ticket, trying to win that final state title. But I don't think anybody beats Freeze South Davidson. Definitely got the better side of the bracket there.
And I'll pick Noel in this bracket. I'm gonna pick him to win. based on how he's looked.
I'd love to see it. I'm a Noah fan. I love watching that kid wrestle. He's tough. Excited to see what he does, and I hope he wins it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm going to pick him. Like we said, we're not going to pick every weight. And honestly, some of these weights, I'm going to be honest, I'm just not that knowledgeable with this year because of the shortened season.
We didn't get like a WRL. We didn't get the Holy Angels. We didn't get all Protan Beast the East, Tiger Class. We didn't get any of that stuff where some of these guys get concentrated in. Now, stepping up to 1A 132, you got two-time state final state champ Ethan Schell in here. You got state finalist Cody Lawson. That's kind of the big matchup. I think a lot of people want to see this one.
I think Shell's going to shell.
Yeah, Shell's going
to shell. I think he rolls through it.
Like we mentioned earlier,
I think he majors through it.
Man, Christian Beach
for bonuses
said Shell is the best kid in the room.
Yeah,
and high praise coming for someone like Christian. So I'll take Shell.
Yeah,
for sure.
I take Shell there. I say he bonuses through.
Yeah,
I say Shell bonuses through that one. Bumping up to 138 here though. This is an exciting one. I feel like this is kind of a questionable one. I mean, I think that we know who the favorite is.
I think Jonah Hayes is the favorite from Avery County.
Yep.
Another Avery County.
It's a one-horse race here.
But I do like Shane Hatfield out of East Carteret. He is the one seed he's the one seed out of the East. Had a great regional tournament.
Yeah.
His side of the bracket though is tough with Garcia from South Stanley and Cole Combs from Rosman there. Just kind of looming as a potential semi. So that side of the bracket definitely is one to watch. I think that Hayes has kind of put himself winning the West, kind of put himself in a really good spot to make himself in the finals there, just based on how his side of the bracket looks.
Yeah, I agree. You got another Manio in here though.
Yeah.
Your side of the state down there.
2 crew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna bump up to 145 here. Bryce Browning here from Tarboro, 17-0.
Yeah, but you got Jonathan Cable.
But Jonathan Cable on that same side of the bracket. We've got a Avery URI charter head to head. I think that's going to be a big. Those I don't know how many there are, but those matches right there, those head to head are going to be massive.
Yeah,
massive for those.
I think that's
for that team race.
Drew Solomon versus Jonathan Cable.
That might be the best quarters or first round matchup of 1A right there.
That might be the best first round matchup. I agree with that.
I think so. I think that's going to be a tough one.
Say that one or the Fitch Sagan match, but I think this one is closer.
If we look at the big picture here,
I think this is it.
Including team race and because I really think whoever comes out of that might have a shot of beating Browning there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be close.
Thomas Jefferson putting a kid back into the state tournament there. Nathan Halliday. Thomas Jefferson, a smaller program up here near us. Alleghany's got another one in here.
And remember Riley Pruitt, when we talked about last episode, he had a win over Franklin Bennett, who's a potential semifinal opponent for him.
Out of Mount Airy.
Mount Airy defending state champ.
Yeah.
Won it last year as a sophomore. So that Pruitt-Bennett rivalry is going to get kicked back off here. That Bennett kind of revenge that at the regional tournament. So, man, that bottom half is pretty tough.
Dogfight right there at the bottom.
I'm going to take Bennett to kind of make himself on the way back to the finals, kind of just continue to establish himself there through the bottom.
I think we're going to see finally not an Avery County kid in the final here.
Yeah.
I think there's a few other weights that they didn't have on the final. I know I'm exaggerating there a little bit.
145 is a good little bracket with Shelton, Browning, Cable, Pruitt, and Bennett all in this bracket.
Yeah.
I like this weight.
That's a solid one. I still don't know who I'm picking there. I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think Bennett takes it. I think he goes again. So moving up to 52 here.
Freshman state placer from your charter up top, Grayson Roberts, and then down on the bottom we got junior Connor Medvar from Mount Airy. We talked about last time on the podcast about how he had some big wins in last year, and we kind of brushed over him on the title contenders thing. We were wrong.
I think so, and I definitely think we missed him. I'm saying Medvar from the bottom, but we cannot pass up yet again, another Avery County. Tristan Adams, sophomore, that I think here is going to meet Grayson Roberts from URI Charter, another sophomore in the semis, another head-to-head URI Charter, Avery County,
a big one,
probably the 1A rivalry for the race this year.
And this is a big one.
I know Robbinsville is kind of creeping right there.
Semis to final points is huge.
That's
where your big point totals come up.
It is.
Is that point there is semis to finals. Tristan Adams was a guy I wrote an article about a watch list, and he was my pick out of the 1A group. Like, this guy's going to go from not qualifying to being a state placer next year, and I think he proves it right here. I might make him make the finals. He gave Medvar at least a match in the regionals, so I'm gonna go him on the making the finals. And I think Connor Medvar, I am not gonna miss you this time. I'm gonna pick you to win the state title. I'll put that down in writing right now.
I mean, it's something whenever kids are bragging they didn't get stuck by you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Like that. Not only did they have a decent match with you, but kids are happy that they didn't get stuck. Okay. I think Medvar takes it 152 there. And I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Avery County there again. Tristan Adams, he's stud.
Now, speaking of URI Charter, Doug Bowles, like we said, buzzsawed his way through the bracket. I don't think that changes here at the top half of 160. He kind of just runs his way through. But at the bottom of it, here comes again. I feel like
it is. I feel like this is almost a dual meet here.
Almost a dual meet with a sprinkle of Robbinsville in here.
Yeah, and Rosewood.
We have and Rosewood.
Yeah, they're knocking on the door. We cannot forget Rosewood this year.
Runner-up Bradley Parker from Avery County.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'll pick in this matchup, to be quite honest. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think Parker Bowles is going to be a dogfight. I think that's going to be one of the best. I honestly think this is one of the best finals as far as like when you watch the match. This is going to be a good one.
I'm going to go out a limb here, and I'm going to go against the grain of what I have most of the year. I'm going to go with Bowles here.
Yeah,
from URI Charter. I'm going to take that pick.
The year.
As dominant as he looked, I'm going to go with him there. Bumping up to 170, getting into the bigger guys here. I think the big names that we're going to have here is on the bottom, Seth Blackledge out of Avery County.
Freshman state champ last year.
Freshman state champ. Did take a loss and kind of surprised some people by going down to 170.
Yeah, so he took that loss to Cage Williams, which we covered on this podcast, and put out in a match breakdown. But then he took a weird loss to Polk County's Knightington, who was actually in this bracket up top.
And I do want to throw a massive shout out to Polk County out there. Coach Scott Taylor. Scott Taylor, first year coach. Coming in a really tough, not only conference, but really tough region, and finding some success and putting some kids out there. I think Polk County here soon is going to be a team. I don't know if they're going to be in Avery or Robbinsville, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot more Polk County Wolverines back at the state tournament in Greensboro.
I think so too.
I'm excited. He's doing big things.
They used to in 1A when it was 1A 2A, it was just first split to 2A.
Had some big names coming out of Polk County. And I think Coach Taylor, he took the job this year, went down there. He's kind of changing the culture up a little bit. And I'm excited to see what he does.
Me too.
He's got roots from Hendersonville, school that you coached at, school that I wrestled for, moving on down to Polk County. And, he's been doing big things. But back to the rest of the bracket here.
So his wrestler, Jacob Knightington, was the one that beat Seth Blackledge. But his first round matchup, he's got
a tough one.
Jonathan Parker from East Carteret. I think Parker kind of runs through the top half of the bracket and finds himself in the finals. And then another URI Charter Avery matchup. You got
semis
versus Cameron Clark. I think really highly of Seth Blackledge, so I'm going to lean to him. I'll take him to win the bracket. Even though I think Parker is a very tough matchup for him, and it's going to be another exciting final.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I am going to go with Seth Blackledge here at 170. 182, I don't think that anyone else in this bracket matters. Paige Williams is going to he's going to bonus his way through this as a freshman, 182, undefeated. He's going to bonus his way through here. It doesn't matter. But I do want to point out this first round matchup is going to be massive. Another Avery County URI Charter head-to-head off the bat. Lucas Wright out of URI Charter and Dalton Toe. One of these seniors
state runner-up Dalton Toe
will not place this year.
Yeah, and then that's what the big part is there's no wrestleback.
No wrestleback.
So you win, you're a state placer, all right?
And in 1A.
Yeah, in 1A. If you lose,
you're done.
Out. You're out.
And this is senior versus senior, two solid kids.
Yeah. And Wright looks great into winning his regional title. Toe kind of had a misstep in his regional, taking a loss to Avenue.
Yeah. Which was one of the biggest upsets.
Really big upset.
Massive shout out to Avenue there. Big upset. Everyone was kind of excited for that. Dalton Toe and Cage Williams in final there.
And I would almost agree with them when people were saying that was a really big upset, maybe the biggest upset of the year until
Heaven Fitch lost.
Yeah. So that was a really big upset. Man, I do feel like, man, this is a tough top side. I do feel like even though Toe took that loss in the regions,
I think he bounces back.
I think he bounces back. I'm to the point where whoever wins that right Toe matchup
is going to be in the final
the finalist. Yeah. So makes this first round matchup.
They are going to be the sacrificial lamb to Cage Williams. Because like I said, Cage Williams will bonus his way through this state tournament.
Pinned Toe in the offseason like 33 seconds or something like that as well. So, I mean, he's just kind of on another level. We know that.
He is. And so, 182 is Cage Williams' next topic. But it's going to be a big first round matchup there for the team race, I think.
I kind of think 185, there's got one man that's kind of separated himself pretty highly. We know him as Kyle Fink.
Yep. And Robbinsville may do a little bit of favor here for Avery for their regional foe here with a first round matchup with URI Charter.
Yeah.
But like you said,
I think he's kind of separated from.
I don't think there's levels to it at 195 and 1A right now.
Bryant from North Stanley can give him a match.
It'll be a match. Don't get me wrong.
It'll be come down to the end. But I just kind of think.
But Kyle Fink's got the
juice.
Yeah,
man.
he's got it. He's ready to go.
Now, this is the bracket I was trying to talk about in a regional recap, man. I don't know who the favorite is at.
I have no clue now.
220 anymore for 1A.
I have no clue.
I thought it was Vance. At the beginning of the season, I thought it was Rogers. Then I thought it was Vance. And then now I'm like, I don't know.
Tyler Parrish out of Rosewood.
That's kind of where I'm leaning is Tyler Parrish out of Rosewood kind of has the best win recently. So him and Vance are probably going to meet in the semis. That's a huge semi matchup. And then you got Tony Rogers from South Stanley and Ben Wacha. I'm probably saying your name way
Wacha. I'm going to go with
Ben. Ben from Robbinsville. That's another
Ben from Robbinsville.
Ben from Robbinsville. Dude, I mean.
Don't worry, I said the Allegheny kid. So
I think this is the best group of four at 1A, where you're going to see two really, really good semis. And maybe 145. That's fun too.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's going to be, and yet again here, Avery, URI Charter.
Round
okay.
One, yeah.
Round one. I mean,
I think Vance is a pretty heavy favorite in this one.
Yes. I think we're going to see Vance and Waukesha again in the finals. And I think Vance gets that win back. Yeah. And we're going to bump up to 285 here. This is exciting. But really it's a 2-horse race. We're going to see Levi Andrews out of Avery County, and we're going to see him bump up again or wrestle again against CJ Henderson. I don't think there's anyone in the bracket that can touch either one of those.
I'll take I'm
going to have to go with Andrews again, and I say that he beats him dominantly again. I think he's going to bonus his way through this tournament. And I think he gets a stick in the finals again.
And he did last year too. So that'd be 2 state tournaments in a row.
Yep. And so at this point, I do think that Avery's going to win 1A. I think they're going to run away with it.
It's close.
I think it could be a.
Now, I think where it could get close is if URI Charter wins some of those matchups that we're talking about. There's a lot of
there are. So URA Charter is in the best place. If they want to win, if they want to beat Avery, they have the chance to.
No, they control their own destiny.
They really do. No, seriously. They really do. They control, URA Charter controls their own destiny. They have the opportunity. Okay. They have the matchups. They got the draws that they needed to go and win a state title. The only thing is you have to beat Avery. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah.
And URA Charter this year. Can you guys step up to the task? Can y'all beat Avery County?
If URA Charter beats Avery this year, which in my mind it's 0% chance, to be honest.
Okay.
0% chance. If they
Zero is big.
Yeah.
Zero is big there. Okay. There's a lot of Avery URA Charter matches.
I know. I'm gonna still say 0% chance. I'm taking our boys from Avery, right? If they did, I think it'll be the biggest state tournament upset team race of all time in North Carolina, for sure. Not even close. But like you said,
I'm gonna make a pick and go. Robbinsville beats URA Charter in the team races.
I'm not surprised that either. I think
URA Charter. I think URA Charter takes fourth.
Oh wow, you're gonna get.
I think it goes Avery, Robbinsville, Rosewood, URA Charter.
I'm gonna go Avery, URA Charter, Robbinsville, Rosewood. The reason I say that is because I feel like URA Charter has more bullets in the chamber. But I don't think they're going to be able to beat. Even though
I think there's a lot of matches though. In a normal year, with WrestleBacks, I would have no problem agreeing with that.
Think about Fink, and this. I'm kind of proving your point.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Fink and Hayes Williams are going to score, and Jay Noah.
They're going to win state titles.
They're going to be big points, right?
But URA Charter has a lot of first round matchups against those big names or Avery kids.
Yes, that is true. So URA Charter's control their own destiny.
Yes.
We've heard it from them.
Yeah.
And their fan
and
base,
alumni.
I'm cool with that, guys.
We love it.
I love
send
it.
it
You're
to
passionate
us.
about your
Seriously,
team.
send it to us.
I can take the heat. URA Charter, you control your own destiny here with the matchup.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah, prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong at this
Avery.
point. I'm taking Avery. I'm taking Robbinsville as the runner-up. I'm going Rosewood. I'm going URA Charter. And the reason I say that is because of the.
I'll take URA Charter in second.
Okay.
And I think it's close though, Robbinsville. And Rosewood. I think that's going to be kind of a 2-3-4. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight team race. It's going to be a tight team race at 2-3-4. But I think Avery runs away with the rest of it. But so good luck. So 1A. Congratulations to all your qualifiers. Congratulations to the teams and the coaches that put those kids there. But now we're going to bump up to 4A here.
A couple classifications. 2-4A.
In the same building. Doesn't really make sense in CHSA. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't make sense. If we're going to have two qualifications in the same building, we could have had it at the Greensboro Coliseum or at the Bojangles Arena. This is ridiculous.
The thing that kills me the most about it is I want to see all this stuff.
Yes.
I'm not going to see any of this.
God,
you're
cheating.
And neither will Rhett.
You are cheating these kids.
It's killer. And the experience.
I'm going to go off on it. So let's just go ahead straight into the 4A East.
All right, 4A East.
God, Laney's so good.
Laney won.
God, Laney's so good.
Miles ahead of the field. Big with 11 state qualifiers. We have another lady, Brianna. I'm not gonna be able to say her.
Loon
from Wake Forest. She's junior, 106. She qualifies here. One of two ladies that's gonna be in that 4A 106 bracket. So, like you said, the ladies are coming here.
Yep.
Proving the point that we had been beating the drum all year long on that.
Yeah.
And at 120, we had Mark Samuel of Laney over Bianco from Wake Forest Roseville by major decision. I'm really excited. I wish I could see Samuel in person. We were just talking about that because I feel like he's kind of almost. I want to see it. I feel like he's going to jump levels because he's been working with Boomer Boy and Alan Waters, right?
Yeah, down to innovate.
And his style is very similar to Alan Waters' type of style. Like, I feel like it can kind of translate really well with that kind of coach. So
for sure.
That I'm really excited to see what he does at the state tournament because he's got a couple good matches.
I'm bummed that there's so many good kids on that side of the state that we won't even get to see this year. It's sorry, I'm gonna keep on going back to it.
It's a bummer.
It gets me.
So Logan Hazley from Corners Holders wins. He was a freshman state qualifier at 132 last year.
Yep.
Now all the way up at 152, wins regional title as a sophomore. 160, DJ Schoaf. This is a guy that when you put out the poll, like way back when we started this thing, who's a dark horse this year, we had a bunch of people message us about this and him as one. And I don't think we've mentioned him enough on this podcast, really. He's someone we kind of paying attention to, but we didn't really talk about a lot. We talked a little bit off air, but not as much on air. So, DJ, man, we haven't given you the love you deserve this year.
Yeah, Schoaf. And he called us out. He said, "Quit sleeping."
Yeah,
and
he did.
And he's not wrong.
No, he's right. Honestly, he's right. We've kind of been I don't think we've been sleeping on him, but I don't feel like we've given him the love they deserve. Because
I agree.
We've talked about him off air several times. Yeah. It just never, for whatever reason, came up on air.
I think something big somewhere else in the state just kept on happening every time we want to bring him up on podcasts.
We already got distracted.
It's just.
But he wins over Hopper of Newburn and Ben Lance of Roseville. So big wins there. Kind of puts himself in a really good position. We'll talk about this in the bracket. Good position going forward. And then Bell and Devin Bell and Holden Cipher dominate their way through. Didn't really have any close matches. And then Caleb Beatty of Wake Forest Roseville, just a sophomore, wins 195 there. Looking great. Did really well at 195 last year as a freshman state qualifier. Doesn't have to bear off.
That is tough in 4A. 4A is a tough one. Anything above 182 is so tough to qualify as a freshman. I mean, any weight really, but especially those big guys. I think Laney really asserted their dominance here.
Yes.
They really said like
we're coming. Was big because now they have a lot of, like I said, for URI Charter and Avery, they have a lot of bullets in the chamber, right? The more chances you have to score those points,
especially with the bigger classification, more guys in that bracket.
Now it's bigger when you have the wrestlebacks, and you can kind of have those guys kind of score you.
Not having wrestlebacks changes the team race everywhere.
I mean, it gives them more of a margin for error going into this team race. And this is a team race that we've been talking about
all year.
Episode 1, we talked about it. I think it's just as wild now as it was then. So we're heading over to the Mid-East. Cardinal Gibbons wins over Lumberton. Tyler Tracy and Luke Cooch win for Cardinal Gibbons. Then you have Layla Sale from Hoke qualifying, another lady that's at 4A 106. I was talking to Coach Williams, John Williams, this weekend, and he said, man, Layla Sale is just a real technician. I really, really like the way she wrestles, and I respect his opinion highly. So he was fighting on you, Layla, and I'm excited to see what you do in this 4A 106 bracket. And then at 145, state runner-up Maxwell Keel of Jordan over Jackson Buck of Lumberton. That win ended up being so big. When the state brackets came out. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that win set him up in a way better spot than Buck's in for the state tournament. So huge win there. Savoy New from Cardinal Gibbons, giving them another chance. He is just a sophomore.
Right. I do want to pop in on one really fast with 195. Quintez Shipman out of Lumberton, junior, winning the region there. Big shout out down there to Lumberton and Quintez. He's had a solid year. He's coming on. He's coming on strong. And I think a lot of people.
Lumberton's got a good little squad right there.
He's in a tough spot. And we're going to talk about this a little more. I think he's got a good shot at placing. I do. We're going to talk about this a little more whenever we get to the bracket. But that was a big thing for him in this bracket in a tough 4A 195. And I mean, a really tough one to get that win in the region and put himself in a really good spot. I think he got the best draw that he could have.
Normally, in a normal year, it's like, hey, I'm a 4 seed, whatever. Like, I'm in the bracket.
I can make some. I can make some moves.
This year, it mattered even more. Because of the no wrestleback. So where
because
you
now we're looking at
1, 2, 3, some of these third, fourth place matches set people up in big ways.
Well, now we're even looking at it as in 2A, 3A, 4A, you don't win your quarters, you go home. you know, and in 195, I mean, just a little foreshadowing here, we have a massive, massive quarter with two names of guys that normal year we'd be looking at some state placers.
Yes,
one of them's going to be going home
all the time in 2A, 3A, 4A.
Yeah.
With the way their 16-man bracket is, someone from the quarters is the third place winner.
Yeah.
They lose the champ and
Yep.
they come back and
they wrestle all the way back
all the time, and you're not going to have that this year.
I just want to take them in and shout out to Quintez because man, he's but leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Big wins this year. We're going up 220. Noah Williams of Apex over Josh George of Southview. Yeah. Big win there for Apex and Noah Williams.
And because Joshua George kind of the regional tournament last year is where he announced himself, getting that win over Ryland Van and then placing third at the state tournament. So big win for Noah Williams here. And then Ryland Van of Cary, speaking of him, I think he's the favorite heading into the state tournament. Heavyweight, he dominates. I actually saw on Instagram, he put up a picture of like his opponent kind of laying on the mat and him standing over his opponent, and just kind of looked like he broke him. And it was a pretty cool picture. So, and then jump over to the 4A Midwest, which is a pretty stacked region.
A pretty stacked region, won by a team that has been shouting at us all year that they think they're the best dual team in the whole state. That they think they're the best team.
Best tournament team in the state here.
They really might be. Northwest Guilford. They're putting themselves in here in that 4A race. Where beginning of the year we may not have had them as high as we do now. You know, beginning of the year, it was really Laney and Huff, and you know which powerhouse is gonna burst through there. But Northwest Guilford said we're here. They said pay attention to us, okay? Getting the win over West Forsyth, it's big, you know. But we're gonna start off 113. Matthew Rowland from Pinecrest. We talked about Pinecrest all year.
Talked about Matthew a lot this year.
Talked about Matthew a whole lot.
He deserved all the love he shot.
He dominated through this tournament. Excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I like his skill set a lot. Hunter Jones wins 126, sophomore regional champ. Sets himself up pretty nice in the state bracket. He's been really performing well as of late as well. And then at 132, Joplin does some James Joplin things, wins. Now, I will say, when people look at that bracket, they'll see a 9-5 win over Riley Merchant from Pinecrest, who is really good. I'll talk about him a little bit more in a little bit. But folk style of scoring is weird sometimes. Right. So Joplin kind of scored the takedowns and reversals in that match, and Merchant kind of gets the escapes and a stall point there. So it makes sometimes folk style scoring makes the score a little closer than the match actually was. But that's not saying Merchant's not going to do big things. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then 138, another guy
that whenever I did my post about dark horses here, Drew Pepin kept on coming up.
Yes. And wrong is I picked him as my guy for 4A. This is a guy that's going to jump level.
He is. I mean, he's in a tough bracket. He's in a bracket with, you know, to me, one of the pound-for-pound guys we have. We'll talk about that later. But Drew Pepin, big regional win there, sets him up in a good spot for himself, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, though. He's got a big quarters match in his bracket, but, you know, he's on the right side to make some noise there. 145, we got Riley Edwards of Northwest Guilford. Man, it's insane. Over Jacob Woodburn from Page.
Yes, and then over Torrey Moore from Grimson.
And so Riley Edwards is saying he's here to compete. He's really peaking. I feel like he's looking good right now.
And then 152, you had three matches for Joe Seeley, all Tech Falls. There's levels to this, right?
Seeley's a stud, man.
And then 170, Jack Jarvis of Davie over Quinos from East Forsyth. That's one we kind of previewed in our regional episode last time, and that was by fall. And then this one ended up being a huge one for state bracket placement. Omari Lee of Glenn, going to be in his home gym.
A massive one for state brackets here.
Yes, over Aiden Mayher. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but that ended up being a big one right there. And then 220, this is a guy that I really like. Big wins this offseason. Nathan Carnes, just a sophomore. From Porter Ridge, comes home with the bracket. And then
Probably one of the biggest ones for him, or in this weight, or maybe even in this tournament, on putting which side of controlling which side of the bracket he goes to. I mean, that was a big one for him to fall on the right side of the bracket.
Yeah. And then we have at 285, Glasgow from Ragsdale wins. He beat Craig Black, and then Craig Black beat Harnarain
is what I'm going to go with there.
From Northwest Guilford, who was a state runner-up last year. So
yeah,
big win there. Let's roll into the West. This is where Frank was at. We were getting little mini updates from him as they went on. This is another contributor of the team race. Huff over Mooresville by 2 points. Lake Norman in third, a little bit further back. People are starting to count Lake Norman out a little bit.
I don't think you can.
Because they were having the dual season they were hoping for.
Yeah.
But
they're dangerous.
They are a tournament team this year, and they're going to be very dangerous because they have 3 really, really big point scorers. 2 massive ones that are not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but they're gonna really mop up a little bit, I think. So, but 106.
Cam Stinson is a animal. What a monster. Man, watched his. I think it was his final.
That was the final, yeah.
And dominated, and I mean, looked like a complete animal. Dude, I'm excited to see what he does in the state tournament. But also then popping down to Noah Luna, another name that we've talked about this year a lot. Out of Providence, he's looking great. He's looking like he is ready to win a state title.
Yeah, him versus Samuel is probably one of my personal most anticipated matchups. Yeah. I want to see that one pretty bad.
Yeah, that is going to be big. And it's going to be a big one. I'm excited to see that one as well.
And then we have William Klein with a huge win over Brant Fagerman.
Massive. Yeah. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I knew Klein was good. He's placed a state tournament before. I was leaning Fagerman. But big win, and Klein kind of cements himself. He might be the state title favorite. We'll talk about that in a minute, but definitely puts himself in a good spot.
Yeah.
And then Richard Trainer over Davis Freeze and rematch the state finals. 9-4 this time, so Freeze closed the gap a little bit. But from what Frank said, Trainer still dominated that one.
Trainer's still Trainer. Okay, he still is the Army commit. And he's an animal.
Now this result surprised me a little bit, not in the fact that he won, but
how he won. Man,
Eli Murray, Lake Norman over John Figueroa from Huff. 7-0.
7-0. Dominated.
Yeah.
Dominated.
Eli Murray, I talked about, I had him on the big board. He's number 3. I've said if Joe Seeley and Cage Williams did not exist, we'd be talking about Eli Murray like we have. And you know what? Maybe I need to stop saying that. We just need to start talking about Eli Murray like that.
So here's my thing.
That's a freshman over a state runner-up from a year ago.
But I think this answers a little bit about our team race. Okay. Yeah. I think this shows the difference between Huff and Lake Norman is that I think a Huff kid gets that major and gets the team points.
I don't know.
7-0 right there. You're 1 point away from that major. And I didn't see that match. This is just speculation, but I think that might be the difference in a team title. Yeah. Are those bonus points, and are those guys able to go and get those bonus points for your team, especially in a big finals win right there? Right, that's points.
It's crazy. Freshman NHSCA All-American.
Yeah, Eli no joke. I don't want to take that away from Eli. That's a massive win over a great opponent right there. Yes, that's a massive, massive win. I just want to point out the difference there whenever people are looking at what we look at for team races. And that's one thing that I look at is who can go and get the bonuses, who can go and put it out for the team.
It's going to be huge.
And that's big right there.
And then we had at 160, kind of one of the big matches. We had Gooden over Sanders by injury. I know there's some weird circumstances that kind of were in that match, but the result stands, Gooden over Sanders. And then 182, this is kind of not a surprise, but just an upset. Noble from Olympic over Pepe from Huff.
Yeah.
And then 195,
Gosh.
Man, Mr. Mullet himself. He's got a great one. If you haven't heard why he's doing that, for the Combat for Connection, watch the interview that Frank got with him, and you'll know why he's got his mullet going. It's an awesome story, great cause. Tune into that interview and check that out.
And that's Carson Floyd out of Lake Norman.
Yeah, Carson Floyd out of Lake Norman. Sorry, jumped the gun. I thought everybody knew something about there.
It is a really cool story. Big props. I mean, I love seeing stuff like that. I mean, it reminds me going back to Heath Gagne back at the state tournament a few years ago, or I think it was last year with his senior project. Yeah, it shows big things about these kids, and also big props to their character, to their parents, to their coaches. That whenever you see something like this out of a program, you really know that those programs, like Norman, Coach Stanley down there, that they're raising men, and women that are going to leave wrestling one day and make the world a better place. It's big things to see. So big shout out there for Carson Floyd, what you're doing off the mat as well. But let's talk about what he did on the mat. This kid is an animal, absolute monster.
He beats Chris Dickey out of.
Good God, yes. And then sticks Caleb Tate.
Yeah.
And sticks him.
He completely dominated that match.
Yeah.
Former teammates. They were teammates last year. The state won a state title at Lake Norman. But then, man, Carson Floyd.
Maybe we see why he left.
Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. But Floyd is, man, I remember tweeting out like, hey, Mr. Carson Floyd, you got my attention when he beat Cage Williams.
Yeah.
It is not relented since then, for sure. So let's check out these 4A brackets, man. It gets wild at some of these weights with these quarter matchups. The quarter matchups get huge because we have some great round one matches, but the quarters, I mean, if you don't win, you're done.
You're done. And I think there's some big ones here in 4A.
Huge.
So we're going to start off here. 106. Man, Cam Stinson.
I feel like it's Cam Stinson Island almost a little bit.
I think so.
After what we saw out of him.
I don't see anyone on the top side that can touch him.
I'm not sure if anyone in the bracket can beat him. Now, I'm interested to see, this is the kid I don't know too much about, but I've liked kind of the results I've seen, is Johnny Ramos out of Cary. Great program, obviously, right? Historic program.
Yeah.
So he's in the bottom side, though. And then, obviously, Layla Sale, we've talked about her, interested in to see how she does in the bracket. She has a tough first-round match with Joseph Burns of West Forsyth.
I think the one that some people are sleeping on here is this kid from Mooresville, Nagayan. I think that's how you say his last name.
The one that the video we're talking about.
Yes, that Stinson.
Now
Stinson handled him. Okay, Stinson really did put it on him. He wrestled him great. Got the stick. But I think that just shows the level that Stinson's at. I think that Calvin's going to be good. They're both freshmen. This is a young bracket. Okay. I mean, I'm looking at, let's see, two seniors and one junior.
Yeah. Freshmen.
The rest of them are, four seniors.
Right. Be a lot of freshmen, but honestly, I feel like we've seen kind of over the past couple of years a lot of sophomores.
A lot of kids staying down there. Yeah. This is but it's a young one in the fact of the title contenders are young here. I mean, Riley Logan out of Glenn here. He's going to be in his home gym. I mean, of course, he's got Cameron Stinson here in the quarters. That's a tough draw for him. Anyone getting Stinson here. We've got two females here two ladies in the bracket here.
Yeah.
Brianna, I think I want to say Lowen, maybe.
She draws Stinson first round.
Tough draw. Really tough draw.
Yeah, getting Burns first round is a tough draw too. But like I said, John Williams giving her lots of shout outs. So
yeah, big credits on her. I really think Cam Stinson wins this bracket.
Me too.
I think he wins it pretty convincingly. I don't know if I'm going to say he majors his way through it. I think he may have a tough one in there somewhere, just being a freshman in the state tournament. But I do think he wins this. I think he wins it pretty handily. So we're going to bump up to 113 here, and I think this is. I think it's Roland's way to win.
Me too. I think he's a heavy favorite. Now, you do have Landon Bean on the top half with him from Olympic.
Yeah.
But I think Roland's pretty heavy favorite to make the finals on the top side. Then you have a few guys on the bottom.
Actually, I may have to take that back. I don't know if it's Roland's now. I'm seeing a certain name in here.
Now, you got Noah Murray in the bottom here. Now I'm not sure if he was winning the match against Lana Bean or not. I do know it was a defensive pin. Murray pinned himself there. But that match ended up being big because now he has Jacob Falk from Roseville, who's 16-0, senior on the year in that quarter. The other quarter is pretty big too. You have freshman Eli Pendergrass, who beat Murray this year, who Roland stuck in the finals at regionals.
But he's got Gundry from Cardinal Gibbons there in the quarters. And that's a
fun match. So the quarters on the bottom side of the bracket are big. They're huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
The blood round this year is quarters.
The blood round. It's crazy in this one. You're going to see, that's what we're going to see is Gundry, Pendergrass, and Murray and Falk. And those are big, especially Murray getting in will be big for the team race. Pendergrass getting in is big for the team race. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a tough one there.
That's a tough one to pick. I think I do think Roland comes out the top there. I think Roland beats Bean there in the semis.
I'll take Roland to win this whole bracket. I just kind of think he's proved over the last 10 months or even 12 months that he's the guy to beat.
I think so, but I'm excited to see how freshman Noah Murray handles himself in the state tournament, in this state bracket, and with the tough quarters.
I like his style.
Yeah, I do. I'm excited to see that. But bumping up to 120, this is a pretty exciting one with a few big names. And I really think one of the biggest questions in the tournament here, at least in 4A, we've got Mark Samuel, Laney High School. Defending state champ.
He was undefeated state champ last year.
Undefeated state champ. He's 25-0 this year. No one really in his little quarter up top.
No one in his
that's really going to touch him. Really no one on the top side that I think will touch him at all in the top half. I think he walks. I think he bonuses to the finals.
I'm going to butcher your last name, Adam Swieszczak. From Davie County is a tough matchup, but I think Samuel is just kind of.
I think Samuel bonuses all the way to the finals here.
He might.
But where this really gets interesting is down here on the bottom. We got Luke Kuhn. I hope I'm saying that right. From Cardinal Gibbons, 18-0, and then he's going to have Frank Bianco and Isaiah Wilson in his little quad there. That he's going to have one of them in the quarters, and I think that's a good little quarters. I do think Luke wins that.
I think Luke advances, but I think the Bianco matchup and Kuhn's matchup is a fun one.
Yeah, I think so. And then we've got Noah Luna out of Providence down here in the bottom, and he'll probably have, I would say, Will Gibson here at Northwest Guilford.
Kale Bergquist is from Heritage.
Yeah,
really tough kid as well. I think that. Honestly, that Gibson Bergquist first round matchup might be one of the top first round matchups of 4A.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun. Not sure where I lean there. I think Noah Luna wins this quad.
I do too.
But I think the bottom quarters here, if it comes down to Kuntz, Bianco, and then Luna versus Gibson or Bergquist, that's fun right there.
Yeah. Those are some monster quarters.
I think.
I can't believe that we're gonna have a state bracket here this year that Kuntz, Bianco, or that out of these 4 or only 5 names, that Kuntz, Bianco, I'm even throwing Wilson, Luna, Will Gibson, and Bergquist. That only 2 of those are gonna place.
Yeah, it's nuts. I can't wrap my head around.
It's insane, man.
This actually. Keith Norris, Justin Norris's dad, tagged me in kind of like his semis and quarters to watch earlier on Facebook, and I said this is where you're really going to see the no wrestleback stuff come into play, because you're going to have so many good kids that just don't place this year. I mean, it's going to be weird. Honestly, I'm thinking about it historically. We're going to look back. I mean, are we going to remember that we didn't have no wrestlebacks in 15 years this year? And we're going to look back and be like, well, this kid went like 2, 3, didn't place, and then in places again the next year.
Yeah,
it's gonna be, we're gonna be like, well, what happened this junior year or whatever?
Yeah, for sure.
And we're not gonna I don't think we'll completely remember. We will, right? But
Yeah.
when people look back, they're not going to just kind of have that context.
This one's exciting though. I think it's going to come down to Mark Samuel and Noah Luna in the finals.
Yeah, I think Luke Kuth can spoil that party.
Yeah,
but I like Luna's skill set a lot.
I want to see
his top game is a difference maker.
I want to see Luna Samuel in the finals.
Me too. I said earlier that's kind of like one of my personal most anticipated matchups.
Yeah,
I want to see that one pretty bad.
And if it gets there, I say Samuel wins that. That would be my pick there. Bumping up to 126 here. This is a pretty good one too.
Yeah, and this William Klein over Fagerman in the regional finals set William Klein up. The top half of the bracket, I think he will do pretty well. We got Sam Barnett out of Newbern there, who is his potential semi opponent probably.
Yeah.
But I think Klein's kind of proven that he, with that win over Fagerman, that he's kind of the favorite to make the finals out of this top half. And it put Fagerman kind of in a tight spot down in the bottom. You have Hunter Jones, who we mentioned, out of Hickory Ridge, sophomore state placer last year as a freshman. Fagerman, state runner-up last year as a freshman.
Yeah.
They're going to meet in the quarters more than likely. That's going to be a barn burner. And one of them that was a freshman state placer last year will not place. That's crazy to me. And then, I mean, even more so on the bottom, you got Brody Neal from Lake Norman. And you got Luke Fogelman from Riverside, who's 20-0 on the year, junior.
And also Avery, I'm going to mess this up, but Wanacor from Laney down there, sophomore. I mean, that's a solid.
He has some good wins on the year. We were looking at that earlier.
Yeah, that's a solid quad down there to start off.
So that Klein win over Fagerman kind of set him up to be on the top half.
Yeah.
Where we have some first round matches and quarterfinals that are going to be pretty nasty here in the bottom half of this bracket. Yeah. Ultimately, I think Fagerman kind of wins his way through to the finals. I think that's the way we thought about him pre-regionals, and I kind of still think about him that way. But it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a tough one. So, do you agree with our seeding process in the state tournament? How we do with regionals? I know there's been a big discussion on Twitter from Southeast Russell.
He was Jason Fuller was kind of asking the process. Each state does it way different, which is something I didn't really realize.
But I think this year is really big on, are we setting up to see the best kids
meet in the best rounds?
Yeah.
So then you get into the fact of it's opinion based, right? This isn't just a plug and chug formula. It sucks sometimes, but I think that this is the fairest way.
Okay.
Because I think
you think that no matter what system we use, we're always going to have patience?
I think so. I do wish we could figure out a way to separate kids like the Fagerman and Jones one there.
Yeah. Where
they place the state tournament and they're meeting the quarters, or some of the ones we're going to talk about in 2A or in 3A. That kind of jumped out to me a little more. But also, I think it's the fairest way, honestly.
I know I kind of threw that on you, but looking at this, I kind of get to talk about
back and forth about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's the fairest way, and then we get some crazy matchups, and I'm like,
I'm just looking at it this year with some of these quarters, man. That we literally see kids that in a normal year, these kids could really wrestle back and take third.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, we have a handful that it's a toss up of. Okay, these two may be the exact favorites to win this weight, right? These two are the clear finalists, whatever it is. But like you said before, there's so many kids, that they lose in that quarters round and they come back and they take third.
Yeah,
third or everyone's one of my favorite stories of a state tournament is a kid going down first round and coming back and fighting back and placing.
Yes, it happens every year. It happens every year,
and it's awesome to watch. And it really shows coaching to me.
Yeah,
it shows a program that cares.
Sometimes you get
a winning culture.
You get the four best kids out of the same region. I mean, we've seen it happen hundreds of times, probably, where you pick a region. Those are the top 4 place winners, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, all from the east, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4 from the west. and then you have the 5th, 6th place winners from a different region. So it's gonna be kind of wild as far as that goes. I don't know. I think it's ultimately I think it's probably the fairest thing to do. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
It might not be the most fan friendly thing,
fan favorite thing to do.
Yeah, but it's probably the fairest thing to do.
I definitely get what you're saying on that.
Yeah,
it's just especially this year,
yes,
and especially as big of fans as we are, and now that we're in this role, and we're kind of sitting here and we're breaking down. As media people, we want to see the exactly, and I just hate seeing. We're going to see one in 3A that I'm pretty close with. That I think the two best kids are going to meet in the semis.
Yeah, it sucks. And it stinks. Earlier, in the year on the podcast when D'Angelo and Thurston met in the semis, and man, when I saw that bracket come out, I remember losing my mind over that. I wish there was some separation criteria for stuff like that, but like I said, I think it's the most fair. Maybe some separation for situations like the D'Angelo one. With Thurston that they met in these finals the year before.
For sure.
But we'll see. So
got a little off topic there.
We'll
steer us back in here.
Stepping up to 132. I'm going to steer us back in with a big upset here. Up top, on the very top, we got the 1 seed of the West, Tobias Finn from McDowell. And he's taking on Riley Merchant from Pinecrest. Now, I mentioned Riley Merchant earlier. He had a 9-5 match with Joplin, which I said the folk style scoring can be weird sometimes, and keep it a little bit closer. And that's one of those matches. Merchant's been tough all year long, though. We see it happen. 4 seeds over regional champs. I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick Merchant to win this little quadrant right here and be in the semis with Joplin, which I think Joplin's gonna win this whole bracket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take Merchant over Finn.
That's
and
big.
Kind of slide his way down to the semis. And then at the bottom, we got a good little bottom section of the bracket. I feel like we've been saying that about the bottom a lot here, just kind of be popping champs, really. And at the top, we got top of the bottom, we got Jaden Harrison from Laney, who's 24-0 as a junior. You got Tyler Caldwell from Huff in that as well. You got Christian Hasty from Porter Ridge, who's 20-1. All that is in the same quad. I think Harrison's probably the favorite of the quad, right?
Right.
And then, but then you down on the bottom of the bracket, you got Tyler Tracy from Cardinal Gibbons, who's a freshman state runner-up at 106 3A last year. He's kind of the favorite in that little quad. I think it's going to be a Tracy and a Harrison semifinal. I'll take Tyler Tracy. He kind of worked his way into this weight. Tracy, Joplin, final Joplin over Tracy. It's kind of where I'm going with that.
I'm going Joplin Harrison.
Joplin Harrison.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go.
And I don't know. I'm
gonna go Laney.
This is a big,
Laney Northwest Guilford because that's a big weight right there.
Harrison's a big proponent for Laney and their team race right here.
I would say so.
Team race wise, man, it's Lake Norman, Laney, Northwest Guilford, Huff, Mooresville. And it's going to be wild. These first 2 rounds are going to be.
Do you think Cardinal Gibbons is in there at all?
Yeah, Cardinal Gibbons is in it. For sure. Tracy and Kuhn and we're talking about Saturday No at 160. I mean, they got studs that can win it too. This first round and quarterfinal round is just going to be massive for the team race because the points are going to be to get to those placing rounds. It's going to be huge.
Yep. And then moving up to 138 here. I think this is a race for second. One.
Yeah, okay. Richard, you got
race for second.
Trainer in here.
Richard Trainer in here. I'd say he bonuses through this tournament.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you. The bottom.
I feel like I've said that a lot.
You're high on some kids. I agree though. Like we got some kids that are kind of a tier above. There's a reason that he's as good as
I think Boyer from Fuquay Varina there.
Yeah.
That is Fuquay. Yeah, I believe he is from Fuquay. Yeah. I'm gonna say that he gives him the best match here in the semis, but I still say it's a now. I say it's 11-2 match.
Here is a wild one, right? We were talking about like some of these quarters are nuts.
Yep.
You got Drew Pepin.
Yep.
Versus Davis Freeze
from Mooresville. Yep.
Quarters in the quarters.
It's insane.
right? And we've been talking about Drew Pepin all year long.
Yeah.
We're talking about Davis Freeze. And again, this is big for the team right here. Mooresville, Northwest Guilford.
Yeah.
Both only have one loss on the year. Both train in that combat area.
I'm going Pepin, Northwest Guilford.
I'm gonna go Pepin too. I picked him at the beginning of the year to place.
Yep.
Even though he wasn't a state qualifier year.
As high as people talk about that kid. He's
in between Riley Edwards and James Joplin. So that those matches in the room. I'm gonna go Pepin, which is crazy that I'm picking a state runner-up from a year ago not to place. But that's what I'm doing.
That is the 2021 state tournament, though.
Yeah, that is
okay. That's where it shakes up. That's what
But
it's insane.
What a quarter right there.
Yep.
What a quarter.
And then I'm gonna say
I'm gonna pick the winner of that to make the final.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be Drew Pepin over Noah Thomas.
Yeah.
And Pepin goes into the finals, and then I think he meets the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Army's own Richard Trainer there. Richard Trainer is going to bonus.
What a huge quarter there.
Yeah, massive. Probably one of the biggest ones of 4A so far.
All right, Red. This 145 bracket, though,
is insane.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. It ended up being wild from top to bottom. You got Eli Murray sitting at the top, freshman for Lake Norman. His one loss on the year is to state champ Zach Lewis from RS Central. Now,
which was a shock to a lot of people.
Yeah, some people were picking Murray. And we kind of leaned Lewis just based on what we've seen out of him. But Murray's wrestling, I think, better than he ever has right now.
Yeah.
But what did that regional championship and that win over a state runner-up earn him? And that earned him a date in the quarters with state placer Torrey Moore.
Yep. Out of Grimsley.
Senior,
been there before. The big one.
And the thing is that's how this whole bracket is like that, because down here in the bottom half of the bottom half of the top half of the bracket,
I think we have a massive
four guys are just these is the best little quad. I don't know. This might be the best quad of any bracket in the whole state tournament. You have Connor Johnson of Laney.
Okay. Yep.
You have Johnny Merriman of Mooresville, outstanding freshman.
I need you to lock in right here for 1 second.
Yeah.
You had your upset pick.
Uh-oh.
I'm going Jackson Buck, Lumberton freshman, over Jacob Woodburn from Page.
Yeah, so that's the other
first round upset. I'm going Jackson Buck over Jacob Woodburn.
And Jacob Woodburn, his only loss at the state tournament to Richard Trainer, right? He lost to him as a freshman in the finals.
He'll be 5-2 this season.
Then last year as a sophomore, he lost.
Book it. Jackson Buck from Lumberton.
Man.
Matchup of the Pirates here. Lumberton and Page.
I mean, look at this little quad, though. You got
it's insane. Johnson, one of the toughest quads of the state tournament.
Johnny Merriman, freshman, Mooresville.
Yeah.
Jackson Buck, freshman, big border. And then you have Jacob Woodburn, who was a state runner-up and third. Just 2 losses in the state tournament and 2 attempts.
And I'm saying that he takes his first round. Jackson Buck, again, I can't say it enough. Jackson Buck of Lumberton over Jacob Woodburn, first round. Book it.
Man, how wild is this?
Just saying.
Eli Murray, Torrey Moore quarter, and then all 4 of those. I don't know what I'm going to pick. The way Eli Murray,
I do think Connor Johnson from Laney. I think he comes through to the semis.
I mean, he's really
I'm going good. Eli Murray, Connor Johnson here in the top. I say Eli Murray takes it into the finals there. But it's insane that my pick's crazy here that Jacob Woodburn, 2-time placer.
Yeah. And I mean his NHSBAs was outstanding. His 32 was outstanding.
So one thing that does play into this pick here is Woodburn's 5-1.
Yeah, he's had some time off the mat.
6 matches this year. And Lumberton had a schedule.
Yes.
Lumberton, a lot of people thought that we slept on them. We know that Teague Little was in our ear there for a little while, but I really think that this Jackson Buck kid is going to be a problem.
No, I've heard so many good things about him. I like the way he wrestles as well.
So what's crazy?
I do think if Jacob Woodburn is firing on all cylinders, I'll take him to make the semis here.
Okay.
And I'll take Eli Murray over Torrey Moore. I think Murray's in the semis. I am lost on who to pick out of that bottom part of the quad here. And you know what, guys? The bottom half of the bracket isn't any easier.
No.
It's just as crazy. You have Riley Edwards, who was a state runner-up last year, lost to North Carolina legend Kobe Early, right?
Yep.
And then his probable quarter is John Figueroa from Huff, state runner-up.
Who has to beat Jeremiah Smith, though, from Heritage, who's 27-1.
Yeah. So
which that's I do pick John, though. I do pick John from Huff. But that's a first-round match that's I mean, I think John beats him, but I think he's going to have a little bit of a match there.
Yes.
And then we go down to Maxwell Keel from Jordan.
Yes. Who put himself in a very good spot. I said this just a little bit ago on the episode.
Yeah.
Him winning his regional final put him in the best quad in this bracket, right? If that win over Torrey Moore put him in the best spot he could be, considering all the other little quads, right? All the little quarters that he could have been in. I think he kind of not cruises. He's going to have challenge, but I don't think he's challenged in the way that the rest of the quads are going to be. I think he's in the semis. I'm going to take Edwards to make the finals, though. I think he's wrestling the best he ever has.
I'm going to change one from my pickup here.
You flip-flopping?
Nope. Jackson Buck to the semis.
Jackson Buck to the semis over
Connor Johnson. I think if he beats Woodburn, I think he carries that momentum. I say Jackson Buck and Eli Murray in the semis. I say Jackson Buck. Yep.
Two freshmen.
I say freshman semi 145.
Hey, at least you're making a pick. I'm kind of abstaining because I am not 100% sure yet. Speaking of picks, though, Jason Fulmore's putting together a little graphic. Rhett and Frank and Jason and I are going to be making some picks for each weight, 1A through 4A. Rhett's going to abstain from his Inky guys' weights because he doesn't want to pick. How many guys did you guys get it in?
We've got 6, and I'd be picking all 6.
He'd be picking all 6. So he's going to abstain from those weights.
We're going to try and keep away from some biases.
Jason Fulmore is going to put them all out there side by side so you can see what Frank's picking, what Rhett's picking, what Jason's picking, what I'm picking.
I think I'm gonna win. Okay, I'm gonna win that. I think I'm picking all the champs right.
Some of these are gonna be just wild because I mean, one of our
these quarters, man.
One of our picks could lose first round.
God, these quarters are insane.
Yeah. So 152,
one horse race.
We got Joe Seeley here. We know
best freshman in the state, and some people are going to say the pound for pound best in the state.
Man, we got some really good freshmen right now. Freshman sophomore.
We really do.
North Carolina.
We really do.
Really like what we got. But Joe Seeley's going to probably run through this. We know Jake Emmert from Mooresville, really good. I also think that Logan Hazley, what I mentioned him earlier from Corner Holders, I think he's really good. I think that's who Seeley sees in the finals. I don't know. Sam Greyna from Cary, 14-0 sophomore. So we got a really young 152 after a really young 145 as well. But I think we all know that this is kind of Joe Seeley's weight right now, and kind of wins his first of many state titles. Well, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on him, but definitely walking away as freshman state champ after this.
100%. So next up here, 160. We talked a little bit about this prior. We've got Daniel Schoaf here from Laney. I think he kills his quad. Okay, I think
he's in the semis.
I think he's in the semis right away.
He's in a good spot.
But in the semis, I'm gonna say he's gonna take on Jaden Dobeck here from Pinecrest, and I think that's a tight match there in the semis.
So don't overlook though. In that quarter, look who Dobeck's got. He's going to probably have Justin Sanders from Huff. So that injury default there over.
That's a question for me.
Yeah, that's where
that's a question.
I'm not sure what the circumstances were behind that. I'm going to go Dobeck.
And we understand Huff. You guys may want to keep that.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
I'm never going to ask y'all to pass on. You don't have to.
Nothing on injuries, of course.
Either way.
We just hope that Justin Sanders is 100% coming to the state tournament.
We talked about on the whiteboard more about how we both kind of really liked what he'd been doing this year. I like Dobeck, though. I kind of was on the Jaden Dobeck train prior to him being a freshman state runner-up last year. Which he did from the 4 seed, by the way. He was a 4 seed out of the region. He took 4th and then was a state runner-up. But I'll take Jaden Dobeck to the semis. I'll probably take Dovek over Shof to make the finals.
And
there.
I'm just saying that anyone we pick from the top, I'm sticking with my boy. Okay, I'm sticking with my guy.
Yeah,
Jack Britt, Joseph Locke, state champ. Book it.
You're going Joseph Locke, state champ.
State champ.
There. Now I want to say this though: 145 quarters are wild. 160 is wild. Like we were kind of talking about Shof's kind of in a good spot. Then Sanders and Dovek. Then you got Ben Lance and Joseph Locke here, right? And then
Lance is the only one that I think can beat him in this bracket.
And then I don't know, Luke Gooden's here. Luke Gooden and Alex Hopper from New Bern. Hopper was just a state placer as a freshman. Luke Gooden was third at this weight last year. Man,
I'm high on Joseph Locke, man.
If I was at the 4A, 1A tournament, the quarterfinals, this is probably the quarters I'd be looking forward to the most. It's the 161s. I don't know. I'm going to go Gooden and Locke meet in the semis. I don't know who wins that one. I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Byron Sigmund's going to have Locke ready to roll.
Come out. I'll make a pick. I won't.
Byron Sigmund's going to have Locke ready to go. I'm going Locke, state champ, 160. Book it.
Oh, man.
We're going to bump to 170 after that. I'm not even going to let you talk anymore because you're going to try and convince me otherwise. This is an interesting one to me.
We got a really interesting first-round matchup out of 170 here.
I think this is a big one for the team race, too, here.
Yeah, Devin Bell at 170 is going to be massive for the teammates, Delaney, because he's going to need to score some big points for them.
Yeah.
Now, his first-round matchup is against Noah Ruff, who really good wrestler, forfeited to fourth after making the semis at his region, which is why he's there from Providence.
So hopefully he's healthy.
This might be one of the better first-round matchups of all of 4A. I'd still lean Bell. I think he's been the best guy at 182 and 170 all year when he came down. Now, the bottom half, you have the aforementioned we talked about earlier, Jack Jarvis from Davie County, but the guy I really like is Sylvain New from
Cardinal Gibbons.
As he was one match away as a freshman last year at 160.
Sophomore year. Yep.
So he's sophomore regional champ. I like him to come out of the bottom half. That's kind of who I'm leaning to.
I think Devin Bell wins this whole bracket.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take Bell. After what we saw from him last year and in the offseason, I'll take Bell.
I say cohort from Huff goes semis from the top. And then I'm going Bell, semis. I think it'll be Jarvis. Jarvis will walk to the semis here. But I do think that Savoy New will come all the way out. I think he beats Jarvis from Davie. He goes to the finals, but I just don't think anybody handles Bell this year.
Man, this is the some of these 4A quarters are just mind blowing.
It's crazy. I think Bell wins 170 here. We're gonna bump up to 182.
Now we have Noble from Olympic at the top of 182, 25-1. Yeah. But man, Holden Seifert looms here, right?
Yeah.
I think state commit.
Like I said before,
he bonused his way through the state tournament last year. He was third 2 years.
Do it again.
I think he does it again as well.
I think he can pin his way through.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He does have Michael Pepe from Huck.
I hate that that's the quarter.
Yeah.
Michael Pepe deserves to be a state placer this year.
He's proven all year long that he should be, but he lost that regional final to Noble. Let's put Noble at the top.
Yeah.
Put Pepe in there. It's one of those quarters that you look at and you're like, dang, that sucks. But
it does. I mean, and that's just you gotta give props there to Noble
of putting himself in a good spot.
Putting himself in the best situation that he went from not placing.
Pepe's one of those kids that we were talking about that if after he lost the Cypher here, he could
come back take third.
Take third, right?
100%.
That third, fourth place
match. But I mean, we're gonna look at this in that I'm gonna say that the Sinclair from Lumberton goes down to the semis.
Yeah, Lumberton's got strong, man. They got
and I do think that that program's on the up and up. They're gonna be a 4A powerhouse in no time. But Holden Cypher, of course, to the finals from the bottom. We're gonna see Sinclair. I think he places this year. But man, Noble took himself from not placing to state finals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's got Charles Bishop here from Laney, but
I know that one match, the regional final, huge,
changed his whole season.
because he could have gone from having Holden Cypher in the
Yep.
quarters to now he's up top.
And now he's in the semis against Bishop.
Yeah.
To me.
Or
I mean, I know Hyder. I know that Hyder. Well, yeah, that's gonna be
I like
tough.
Hyder from
That's gonna be a
Pinecrest lot.
fun.
That's a fun little quarter.
That's a fun quarter.
Yeah, Charles Bishop from Laney and Robert Hyder.
That's a really
from
fun quarter.
Pinecrest. That's a good little quarter right there.
And I don't think we can really sleep on any of these Glenn kids.
No,
You know,
the
I mean,
Glenn
I
kids
think
are
it's a
tough, for
massive,
sure. And
and I think
home.
exactly that's what I was about to say is they have their routine down in their own gym, right? They get to come in from their own bed, right?
Yeah,
It's at home. It's home field advantage for them.
yeah.
That is something to be said. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Richardson's going to knock off Noble, but I think that's a match to watch first round.
Yes,
I think that's definitely a big first round matchup to watch there with Richardson and Noble. But man, that Noble and man, that Noble
huge.
and Pepe finals is so big
It was just massive.
that changes the whole outlook of your season or the whole, into your season there. But man, 195, 4A 195,
That's the way we talked
the way
about.
we've been so excited all
And now
year.
it didn't work out the way we thought, right? We thought Sakari Morrison and Holden Cypher might be here. We were hoping for it. Okay. We kind of had inclinations, and maybe we were being a little more coy than we kind of originally let on as far as what we kind of knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we kind of tried our best to persuade everybody to stay at 195.
I think the biggest quarter of the entire tournament happens right here in the fact of a guy that has big wins, but has had an up and down season. Aiden Maher.
Yes.
Is going to take on Carson Floyd, the mullet from Lake Norman.
And we saw this match. We have
in the quarters, man. Yeah.
And Floyd dominated. It wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't. And I don't mean this in a way of that this is a close quarter.
No, but it's huge.
But Aiden should be a state placer.
Yes. Aiden, I mean, he has 2 wins over state champs. I noticed the one state champ that's in this bracket, he has a win over. He had a phenomenal season. He's someone that we've talked about a number of times on this podcast. And he ends up with Carson Floyd. And again, another thing where a regional final was huge. He lost his regional final to Amari Lee, who puts himself in the top half. Now, if he would have won that
either way,
I had Caleb Tate, who has a 1-0 win over.
Yeah. But now, I don't think he beats Tate.
Here's a good first round matchup though in this bracket: Omari Lee from Glenn versus Marcus Grist from Newburn. Now I know Marcus Grist is 8-7 on the year. You're like, oh man,
he's a gamer though.
What's going on? But this guy, he placed at the state tournament here last year.
Yeah,
he was. I think third. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure he was the 3rd place winner in this weight last year. And so him and Omar Lee going at it first round, and then the winner is probably going to get Caleb Tate.
Yeah.
So Caleb Tate, big one with Grist or Lee in the quarters. I mean, he's state champ. And right now, it's a question: is this guy going to place this year with the way the format is? I think he gets. I
say Tate goes all the way to the finals.
I think Tate gets done. I think his match with Dickey or Beatty. That's another.
I think Beatty there. I think Beatty goes all the way to the semis.
Dickey's pretty tough there in that quarter. I like Beatty too. As far as to win that one. And then you got Quintez Shipman.
I'm really excited about that, man.
And I'm
excited for Lumberton to have another stud.
Yes, I like him to make the semis here, but his quarters match though against potentially Parker Jones of Hickory Ridge or Kenny and Barry,
another Laney kid
from Laney. Here we go, another Laney, right? They got 11 ins. Yeah. So this is what I was saying, where this is their margin of error is much larger than anybody else's.
Yeah.
So. Especially with the format this year.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 things that are going to help you with the format this year are you have more people to be able to have that margin of error for if you have one of your studs misstep, you have someone else make up for it for kind of an upset, or you have some certifiable studs that are kind of a tier above most of the kids in their bracket, kind of like a Carson Floyd type. I think, speaking of Carson Floyd, I am going to pick him to win this bracket.
Yeah.
I picked him to win 220 when we thought he was going to kind of go 220 originally. I'm going to pick him to win this one. I've been on that
Yeah.
Carson Floyd is
I'm
the
saying-
man train for a while.
I'm going Carson Floyd over Quintez Shipman from Lumberton semis. I'm going to go Caleb Tate over Caleb Beatty, and then I'm going to take Quintez over Caleb Beatty for third.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm going to go all the way top 4 picks there.
I'm not going to disagree there.
4A 220, I think it's a 1-horse race.
Yeah, I think Sakari's kind of moved himself kind of in a tier on his own.
Yeah.
Super 32 placer. He does have
Heck of an athlete.
Joshua George in the top half. George was 3rd place this weight last year, but I don't think he's with Sakari right now. I think
I don't think anyone is.
a pretty potential.
I'm gonna come out and say that I think Sakari could win 95, 220, or heavyweight.
Oh wow. I mean, his teammate Carson Floyd did beat him, so I might take his teammate Carson Floyd over him. I don't know. That's nip and tuck though. I would love to be in the room and see that matchup every day. Good night. But Sakari Morrison is really, really, really good. Defending state champ, won last year at 2A 195. Now in the bottom half, this is a really good matchup. One of the ones I'm anticipating the most at 4A here is Nathan Carnes from Porter Ridge, 21-0, just a sophomore, right? Qualified as a freshman at 195. Kind of seems to be a theme where having more freshmen qualified upper weights. I love it too. I like him to meet Noah Williams from Apex
semis
in the semis. Toss up there. I think that one could.
I think it goes to Carnes.
Either way, I really like Carnes. I think whoever wins that one loses to Sakari in the final. But
yeah. Yep.
Stepping up to the big boys.
To the big ends here. And I think this could be a big, big weight for the team race.
Yeah, I mean, you got Rollins from Huff who can score you some big points, and this is a big team race matchup right here. Is Huff and Laney, Manuel Bell, Julian Rollins gonna
quarters
and meet in the quarters. Now Bell, state placer last year at this weight, has been everywhere in the off season. Rollins is a D1 football commit, going to Davidson. Bell, probably the more solid wrestler, I'd take a guess. Rollins, though, I think has more ways to score. I'm going to go Rollins there.
I am too.
But you got Glasgow from Ragsdale, Nicholas Glasgow from Ragsdale. I think he kind of makes his way to the semis to meet Rollins. And then I'll probably take Glasgow, actually. I will too. Semi. And then
he's solid.
So this is another good first round matchup. This is going to be nuts. Austin Barton, he was ranked as high as like 2 in the state at one point this year from Mooresville. This is a big team race one.
Yep.
And he's got our man Marcus from Northwest Guilford, who was a state runner-up last year. Big one for the team race.
Massive first round match.
Marcus kind of had like an up and down year this year comparatively to what his state runner-up was his accolades show, right?
For sure.
I just kind of have a feeling he's going to kind of turn the corner back, find himself in the semis, kind of helping up his team. But on that bottom part of the bottom bracket, you have Rylan Van from Cary. He was a state runner-up last year as a sophomore at 220.
Historic heavyweight.
And I saw that he committed to NC State for football. So, well, you know that this guy can move his feet, right? He's got some athleticism.
Yeah.
I'm taking Rylan Van to win this bracket. I'll take Rylan Van to win the bracket.
I think that's a solid pick. I really do. I think it's going to be him and Rollins. So we're going to have 2 Division I football commits there in the finals.
Hey guys, if you want to change your mind and wrestle, we're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, like, please.
I get it. I get playing football.
Look, both schools have wrestling teams.
Yeah.
Be a man. But no, I mean, seriously, congrats on to you guys for
on that.
Anyone
we're being a little silly with trying to get you to wrestle. We like wrestling. But hey, we'll follow your football career as well. So.
No joke. We're big fans. It also just shows like just a quick snippet from someone who also was a football player. Wrestling makes you such a better football player.
Yes.
You know, and football coaches, we need to stop this stigma of like trying to keep kids to be one sport athletes. Okay. Some of the best, I mean, we look at Adam Kuhn now. Okay. Just a big one.
Yeah.
Adam Kuhn from Michigan, All-American, Greco World team member.
Greco World Silver finalist.
Yeah, World Silver finalist. Just signs a contract with the Tennessee Titans.
Hasn't played football.
Hasn't played football since high school.
Yeah.
Okay. There's numerous more. Stephen Neal.
Too,
Stephen Neal with the Patriots did the same thing. All right, it's massive. Get your kids wrestling. All right, especially heavyweights. Okay,
like
especially big guys.
To acquire a lot. Yeah. Right? We don't have a lot of
with you guys. Yeah.
Watching our podcast.
Send this to them. Send this to them. Tell them look at the numbers.
It helps.
It does. So back to the wrestling here. I am gonna agree. Rylan Van wins this. Out of Cary, he brings back another heavyweight state title, going back to Palma there from Cary, one of the best North Carolina heavyweights of all time.
I remember seeing at the state tournament when he won his junior year.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this is why they switched it to being random, a starting weight. When it got to the big guys, the Coliseum would clear out type deal. And like I said, that's why they started random weights.
Switching around, yeah.
When he was wrestling, everyone stayed. Yeah. They wanted to see that.
You want to see the monster.
I mean, he was ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yeah, exactly. So that wraps it up for 4A there and for 1A.
What do you think about this 4A team race, Rhett? Who are you going to go down with?
Good gosh.
Man, you know what? I'm going to tell you, Rhett, in the beginning of the year, in my head, we talked about this is like our first topic, if you remember. Like we kicked off our podcast, Carolina Takedown Talk, with the wild 4A team race. And it was Mooresville. It was
Lake Norman.
It was Laney. It was Northwest Guilford. It's Huff. And in my head, I was picking Lake Norman or Mooresville. I was picking those two. That's who I was going to go with. As the season's progressed, I've been reminded over and over again what Trip Rogers and Huff did last year. And that's not by them. They've been silently doing their work. They haven't been saying anything to me. They just, as the results they poured in, they beat them in the duel. They took the regional title over them. I'm going to go Huff wins the 4A team title. They get it done again. Now, is it going to be wild? Do I wish I was going to be there? I wish we were in the Coliseum, and I would be all over the North Carolina Athletic Association to be announcing the team race often for all of them. Like that way, especially for like last year, they should have been like letting us know that the team race was on the line in the last match with a trainer and Freeze, right? That was the team title right there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Huff. I think prediction-wise, I probably didn't go that way as far as, I mean, I picked some big names, Sanders and Figueroa, not to place for them. But I don't know. I think I'm just going to go with what my gut's feeling right now and pick them to win. Bring home the team title.
I say Huff joins Inca Jets back-to-back state champs.
Yeah, this is going to be wild, guys. Honestly, like,
Huff wins another state title. I think if you Trip Rogers, he leads them. Richard Trainer, the Army commit, he leads them from the front, leads the charge. Julian Rollins as well. I think it's going to be. I think it's Huff's day Saturday.
I think this team title is in the balance.
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be. Yeah. I think it's going to be closer than 10 points.
I think it's going to be,
I really think it'd be like a 2 to 3 point team race.
3 points or less.
Yes.
It's going to be in the balance.
It comes down to the last match.
Finals, like back into the end of the finals between these 4 teams.
I agree. Really. I agree. And so, that's 1A and 4A.
4A. Frank's going to be there, guys. So find Frank. You guys know him by now. Talk to him. He loves to talk wrestling. If you want to help him out with the coverage way there, shout at him. Yep. Yeah, man. All 3 of us, Frank, Rhett, and I, love to talk wrestling. So find him at the 1A, 4A. We won't be there at that one. So good luck to all the qualifiers. If we didn't pick you and you're like, man, I hate Ryan and Rhett, they didn't pick me. That's fine. Prove us wrong. Use us some motivation. We don't mind that.
Yep.
Good luck to all the qualifiers. We just want to see everybody stay healthy, do well, put on a show, keep bringing North Carolina wrestling to another level.
And let's boogie.
Yeah, let's boogie, guys. Thanks for watching.